you.
Well, there's a very interesting development at this point. The UGC has just put out a statement today saying that it's determined to go ahead with exams. Remember, this is right now the big point of contention between students and colleges across the country as students insist that they want exams to be cancelled. The UGC statement today says basically that it is determined to go ahead with examinations. Out of 640 universities that have submitted their responses to the UGC, 182 have already conducted examinations online or offline. 234 are planning to conduct their examinations in August or September. And 38, it says, are planning to conduct an examination as per the direction. Remember, here's the whole point. Will colleges hold their examinations? In its guidelines, released on the 6th of July, UGC had said final examinations must be held for the final year by September end. And 28 teachers, from what we understand, have written a letter to the UGC seeking a cancellation and basically saying that exams should be cancelled. It basically said that it effectively extends the period of holding the examinations until September. The second postponement, this creates fresh uncertainty for states that are deciding to cancel the examinations. Now, just to give you an idea of which states have decided to cancel, states opposing are Bengal, Delhi, Odisha, Punjab, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu have all asked UGC to cancel examinations. Apart from this, various student unions are also asking for a cancellation of examinations. Now, this also popped up given that Christ University, a university in Bangalore, was holding its exams at a time when students had asked that the exams be cancelled. But the college said very clearly that it is following the guidelines of the UGC as of now. I have a couple of guests who join me at this point to help us understand this problem a little better. Mr. Prakash is a former chairperson of the UGC, and Professor Nandita Narain of Stephens College, a member of the Delhi University Teachers Association, joins us as well. I welcome both of you, and I thank you for being kind enough to give us your time. If I may start with Professor Nandita Narain, would you tell us where you stand on this whole controversy? Do you believe that the exam should be cancelled?
Absolutely, Faye. The examination must be cancelled for a number of reasons. One is that this is an extraordinary situation and it is asked for extraordinary measures. There is nothing terribly sacrosanct about one examination out of 6 semesters examinations that a college student faces, all of which have equal importance. 5 have already been held. There are external examinations every semester under the CBCS system with 75% weightage to external exam and 25 to internal assessment. This semester, teachers have willy-nilly done the internal assessment as well, which is more subjective and takes into account students' special circumstances. So the Delhi University Teachers Association and the Federation of Central Universities this year, the examination should not be held for the reasons of safety, security, and online examinations because of unequal access to students of different denominations, gender, and so on, and students out of Delhi who did not take their books with them, will become a farce, especially because there is absolutely no mechanism to prevent cheating and guaranteeing that the student is actually doing the exam. It encourages, it institutionalizes corruption, and that is what has already started. There are offers coming to students to pay money and have the examination done for them. It will destroy the credibility of Delhi University's examination system, which has stood the test of time. So this exam should be cancelled, internal assessment for this semester with 25% weightage, and the previous 5 semesters average should be taken and the results declared at the earliest, so that the final year students should be able to move ahead, get their admissions in universities abroad and their employment, which is dependent on this semester's results being declared at the earliest. One more point is that if the UGC considers the formula of previous semesters average and this semester's internal assessment valid for the first and second years, then much more should it be considered valid for the third year final semester, because they have done 5/6 of their course already. They have been evaluated and assessed. If anything, the first year and second year could have waited and done examinations later, because they are not in a hurry to get their result. But the third year result should be declared immediately on the basis of the formula, which has also been recommended by departments of sociology, economics, statistics, and history, and several other departments which are statutory bodies. But somehow the voice of sanity is not being heard in, by either the UGC, MHRD, or Delhi University or other university authorities.
Mr. Ved Prakash is with us. He's a former chairperson of the UGC. Mr. Prakash, what is your opinion in this matter? Do you believe that the UGC should allow for exams to be cancelled? Or do you think it's important that all exams be held by September, as pointed out by the UGC?
Thank you very much, for having me on your show. If you want me to give one-liner response, then my response is that we should not conduct the examinations under the present circumstances.
Okay.
And the reason for that is we have two types of universities in our country. One is the unitary university, wherein the number of students is smaller than the number of students in the affiliating universities. In affiliating universities, we do not have the wherewithal to conduct the online examination. We have not been able to institutionalize that kind of mechanism on the campuses of our institution, that we can conduct the examination for 300,000 students in an online mode. And the second point that I would like to make is there could be 5 different perspectives from which we can analyze this issue. And it should not be a matter of prestige for anyone. I think the first and the foremost consideration in our mind today must be the safety and security of our students, our children. The children are not staying on the campuses of the university. Children are not staying on the campuses of the colleges. They have gone to their respective places. When you are going to call them back to the campuses, you are not only risking their life, you are risking the life of large number of other people whom they would be contacting during their travel time. So it's going to be extremely risky, number one. And number two, we have divided the course content into 6 semesters. And the curriculum is based on 2 basic principles. One is the principle of cumulativeness. The another one is the principle of hierarchy. Do we have such a system that, only the 6th semester examination, which constitute hardly 15 to 20% of the entire course content, will give us the confidence that the children have acquired the competencies and skills only when they qualify the final year examination? We have available on us the assessment of the students of the 1st semester, 2nd semester, 3rd semester, 4th semester, 5th semester, and the sessional evaluation of the 6th semester as well until the time of March 2020. So the best option, and I think there should be only one option, we should not conduct the examination at all. What we should do is that we should evaluate the students on the basis of the aggregated performance of the last 5 semesters and 5 semesters, and the sessional evaluation could be given 50% weightage, and the 50% weightage could be given keeping in view the aggregate performance of the students displayed in the last 5 semesters. So this is how I think we can prepare the results for the 6th semester, and we can award the degrees to the students. The last point that I would like to submit is that when risk and nervousness are gripping the minds of students and parents, it is best to resolve this issue for much needed respite. And the way forward now, I think we should be discussing about the future strategy, because that is going to be the normal in teaching and learning. We have not been able to institutionalize our campuses insofar as the online teaching and learning is concerned, though we have come up with regulations in 2018 or 2019 to offer 100% programs through online mode, but we do not have those kinds of facilities on our campuses. So instead of debating this issue about the declaration of results, I think we should focus on our future strategy. And secondly, universities are also autonomous institutions. They know the best. And we, on the one hand, we start comparing our universities with Oxford, Harvard, and Stanford, where the professor is fully empowered to decide how he is going to transact the curriculum, how he is or she is going to assess the student's performance, and how he is or she is going to award grades, whether he would be using absolute grading system or relative grading system. It is the sweet will of the individual faculty member. I think we must also trust our teachers who have internally evaluated the students' performance in the 6th semester. And then on this basis, which I have suggested, I think we can declare the result.
Well, I do want to ask you, Mr. Prakash, this question as well. The resident doctors or the final year medical students who have been working on COVID claim that they're not being given enough clarity about their exams. Do you believe that medical science should be treated differently at this particular time, given the fact that the healthcare industry is being supported by students?
There is a subtle difference between the medical education and the general education, because internship is one of the important segments of the medical education, which is not there in general education. And if you look at the entire issue from 5 different perspectives, number 1 is the professional credibility. The second is the legality. The third is safety and security of the students. Fourth is the public acceptability. And fifth is the administrative feasibility. All these factors, all these 5, perspectives, under present circumstances, suggest that we should not insist on conducting the final year examination insofar as universities and colleges are concerned.
Yes, going back to the professor, I have Amit who has pointed out saying, I'm a final year student. In the last semester, we had only about 1 month of proper class before the lockdown. After no classes were held, we're insisting on an exam. And there are a lot of questions coming up in this, this sort of way, in the same sort of questions. But my worry here, or my concern, is about the stress or the anxiety that this will lead for students, mental health impact on students, Professor.
Yeah, that's right. So as a responsible, institutions of higher learning, what we should do is that we should make firm decision. One can come up with alternative options. I can suggest you 2-3 options. That is, students who are not ready to accept this offer, they can be subjected to either online examination or offline examination, and that number, because that number is going to be very minuscule. I will not like to go in for that. There should not be any question of option, actually. We must take a very firm decision that we will declare the results on the basis of the performance displayed by our students in the last 5 semesters, plus the sessional evaluation, which is available with us on the basis of the 6th semester. The last point that I would like to make, have we come up with such curricular provisions in our universities and colleges that the course content, which can cover more than 85% of the spectrum of the entire course content, we are not relying on that. When you are conducting the examination of any semester, even then, you are basing the test paper on selected number of competencies and skills. You are not able to ensure 100% content validity.
Yes,
and here,
I just want to bring in Professor Nandita, Narain as well. I want to understand what you believe is going to be the impact of this sort of insistence on examinations.
I think it's a tremendous, human crisis where our students, who are after all our future, our children, they are under tremendous emotional and physical stress. That we have in the Delhi University Teachers Association received thousands of emails in our mailbox, and our mailbox actually got flooded and was threatened with being declared non-functional because of the panic mails that we got about the fact that the mock exam that the Delhi University conducted on the 10th of July, there were there were more glitches. I think it was 99% glitches rather than anything that actually made any sense and came through. So the students have been in a state of panic, and the continuous postponement by Delhi University, keeping them hanging in an area of uncertainty, is really taking a toll on their mental health. As if COVID was not bad enough, where people are facing all kinds of problems at home. Home environment is not the same for everyone. Women particularly are under tremendous stress. There are cases of abuse, and you don't really get that space in which you can freely access your classes. Very few people have actually been able to access online classes. So this whole thing is discriminatory in terms of your economic background, your gender, your different ways in which the COVID has impacted you in different states, whether you have a member who is afflicted or in hospital. So I think it is absolutely inhuman to insist on an exam which is actually going to be extremely inconsequential, and it's a farce because you don't know who's doing the exam. Those who have resources and will get it done for them will be much better off than those who are trying to do it themselves honestly. And it's it's counterproductive. So I don't see what the academic or any other kind of rationale is for this, and I think it's really being cruel to our the young generation, our students, who are, after all, our future. So we all feel very strongly about this. Exams must be cancelled immediately.
Exams must be cancelled immediately. And I think the larger point here is really clarity must be offered to students which way the decision is being made. Just leaving them guessing and, in no man's land is also adding to a lot of the stress. Mr. Prakash, quick question. A lot of universities and colleges, I understand, have taken fees to conduct these examinations, adding more pressure again financially to families where, parents might have lost jobs, where people might have lost loved ones. How important is it for the UGC to put out some clarity on this collection of fees as well?
It's a very minor issue, actually. I think it should be left to the individual institutions of higher learning to take a call. What is more important, the alternate measure which we are suggesting is, which I have suggested, is to tide over the divergent scenario which are being perceived by different stakeholders in higher education in view of COVID-19. But surely, my point is that no time should be lost anymore to work out all dimensions of curriculum, its transaction, assessment in an integrated manner for future programs. Because we'll have to upgrade the infrastructure. We have been talking about digital transformation of higher education for quite some time, but our institutions are not in a position to do that. Online examination in a proctored manner, which we call proctored examination, how many institutions, even the most premier institutions, do not have adequate wherewithal to conduct the online examination? It is easier said than done. But because that is going to be the new normal in higher education now, we must make adequate preparation for that, and we should focus on that. And the future becomes to blended learning through offline and online mode. So my submission would be that let us move in that direction in real professionalism. Let us focus on that rather than making it a prestige point.
Yes, very well said. Both of our panelists agree that college examinations must be cancelled under these circumstances with immediate effect. But there's also a necessity here to look at the larger picture of how these examinations are being conducted, what our modes of learning are, and whether or not we truly are ready for what is coming after these examinations, instead of just waiting in uncertainty. We will take, of course, closer looks at these college examinations, but we appeal to the UGC to hear the voices of the students, the parents, the teachers, the professors, who have written very clearly saying that the only way out right now is to use the internal assessment of the previous semester marks and cancel the final examinations. Thank you for watching. We will be back, of course, at 8 o'clock with another discussion.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.